Let me know if you heard this story before. The Minnesota Vikings are having offensive line issues. Yeah. All right. But this time, it's mainly due to injuries where Garrett Bradbury has been out for the last 4 weeks of the back injury, re-aggravated after his minor car accident after the Buffalo Bills game. And Brian, the real deal O'Neill, on a interception return, apparently strained his calf, what head coach Kevin O'Connell calls pretty significant. And so that's putting his availability for the playoffs certainly in doubt. It's really unfortunate. So right now, this is the Vikings' current offensive line. So you got Darius at left tackle, which is great. Ezra at left guard, which is awesome. Center Chris Reed, so Chris Reed against the Packers, we gave him a hard time, maybe rightfully so. He's been the backup center behind Austin Schlottmann for 4 weeks and didn't know the snap count. Right guard Ed Ingram, the rookie, still going through some growing pains. And then also right tackle, you got Oli Udoh. So Oli would be in for Brian O'Neill. Oli played relatively well, minus the whole Kirk Cousins strip sack in the red zone. But other than that, how was the play? I don't know. But the offensive line right now, if this is the unit that they go into the playoffs with, it's going to be rough. Kirk Cousins, here's the thing. Like, the offensive line is probably the best that Kirk Cousins had in the last 5 years, but he's been sacked a career high 46 times, and he's been hit like 130 plus times. And the running game has suffered the last couple weeks. I can't remember the last time Dalvin had a 100-yard game. And right now, depth is an issue because behind those five, you have rookie left tackle Vidarian Lowe. You have Josh Sokol, the UDFA center out of Sacred Hat, who's on the practice squad. Kyle Big Hittin Hinton, who's been practice squad elevated 3 times. So if they want to have him on the active game day, they'll have to add him to the 53-man roster, which makes sense because I think Schlottmann is going to be going on injured reserve with his broken ankle anyway. So that's it. I mean, that's it. Unless Garrett Bradbury can get back for the playoffs, Brian O'Neill can get back for the playoffs. Maybe Blake Brandel comes off an injured reserve. But it's not looking good. And there's not really a lot of easy answers where the whole, hey, let's sign J.C. Treader and just plug him in. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And looking at some options right now. So the free agent market is pretty bare. But what Kwesi has done is poaching off of practice squads. He's done that with a number of players already this season. And there are some options out there, but the Vikings would have to move now. All right, so move now this week, get them in the building, have them practice for the Bears game, let them get acclimated. And I don't think that you're going to be picking up a starter necessarily, right? So I think that it would be rolling in with Oli Udoh and Chris Reed. But if you want to add some depth, having some more potential possibilities behind them, especially if Bradbury and O'Neill don't go, I think that does make a lot of sense. And the only free agent we have listed is Timon Paris, the tackle who's been with the Vikings over the last year or so, currently a street free agent. And then a bunch of practice squad guys, mainly at the center position. So Ryan McCollum of the Steelers and Daryl Williams of the Jaguars. Now, Danny Isadora, the pride of University of Miami, that's just the U being the U, a former draft pick of the Vikings. He was actually in the building for a tryout earlier in the season before signing with the Titans practice squad. Then you have Austin Reeder of the Chiefs. I mean, Austin Reeder started 40 games in the league, and he's currently on the Chiefs practice squad. I think him and probably Joey Hunt, who started a fistful of games for the Seahawks, I think those would be the only viable options if you wanted to bring someone in to potentially start at center over Chris Reed. And then also some other old friends, Aviante Collins, currently on the Cowboys practice squad. Josh Andrews, who's also played some center here with the Vikings. He's currently on the Saints practice squad. But of course, all these guys, Paris, Collins, and Andrews, were with the former regime. Actually, no, Paris was in camp with the Vikings this year. Then also you have Michael Mennett and Cameron Tom on the Packers and Eagles, respectively. But I don't know, like, there isn't a magic bullet out there. Like, there isn't a magic solution that's just going to completely solve the Vikings' offensive line issues hanging out as a free agent or on another team's practice squad. But adding depth would be key. But, I mean, this is going to be a big test and challenge for Chris Cooper, the offensive line coach, as well as Kevin O'Connell, Wes Phillips, as well as the players themselves. Where, I mean, Oli Udoh, can you get him revved up, ready to go to play right tackle at a high level? Can you get Chris Reed to at the point where he can be a viable center? Where, you know, he obviously wasn't ready against the Packers, and that really slowed down the Vikings offense. I mean, we'll see, because I'm not overly optimistic about Bradbury's injury, and I'm certainly not about O'Neill's injury. I think if either of them return for the playoffs, for the wild card round, I think that would be a major bonus for the Vikings. But it sort of is what it is. And the Vikings offensive line, I mean, they're going to have to gel. They're going to have to get their ish together very quickly. And A lot of things need to happen. Like the Darisaw, Ezra, Ed need to step up and get Reed and Udo up to speed. And also, Kevin O'Connell needs to be calling plays where you don't put your offensive line at risk. You're not doing those 5 and 7 step drops. Kirk Cousins has to know that he has to get rid of that ball probably a half a second sooner. The receivers have to know, hey, we got to get the ball out quick, be ready and revved up, ready to go. Dalvin needs to be like, hey, we have to run behind this offensive line. And Chris Cooper, Justin Riscotti, the offensive line coaches, they have to get these 5 guys ready. So, yeah, it's really unfortunate. We're also losing Brian O'Neill, who's one of the best right tackles in the game, and also Garrett Bradbury, who's been a punching bag for the Vikings the first 3 years of his career. All of a sudden, he played extremely well before he got hurt. I don't know, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings having offensive line issues. What are they going to do? Question mark. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.